Hello, welcome to my channel, Pongo GD. Today, I'm gonna walk you through the exact path, step by step, from your very first Geometry Dash level all the way to beating your first demon, the hardest rating a level can get. This is a detailed tutorial, so we're not skipping any steps. No going from the first level to the 7th. This will cause, as we GD players say, rage. I'll give you a full skill path, level recommendations for each stage, pros and cons of the best starter demons, so you can choose the one that's right for you and your skills. There will be timestamps in the description depending on your current skill level, so feel free to skip to the part of the video that corresponds to you. Stereo Madness is where every Geometry Dash player begins. This level introduces you to the very basics, including the classical cube game mode and the ship game mode. In the cube sections, you learn to tap to jump over spikes. A common misconception is that the spike hitboxes are the same size as the spike, but in reality, they're actually smaller than they appear, so timing your jumps will be a tiny bit easier. When you get to the ship sections, the gameplay shifts to controlling your ship, holding or releasing the buttons to glide smoothly through tight spaces. This helps you get comfortable with switching between different controls and timing methods. Stereo Madness builds your fundamental skills in both cube and ship modes, setting you up for the challenge ahead. Next is Back on Track, which brings in the yellow jump pads. These launch the cube automatically without you needing to tap. This changes how you control your jumps, focusing more on managing your landing rather than triggering every jump yourself. Obstacles become tighter and require more precise timings. This level pushes you to trust the jump pads, although you shouldn't sometimes, and refine your landing accuracy. Then we have Polargeist, where the game introduces the yellow orb that you must tap precisely as your cube passes through them. This level also mixes mid-air jumps and some ship sections, demanding good timings and control. Here you practice tapping at the exact moment for jump rings, smoothly flying the ship, learning to balance both skills seamlessly. Polargeist is a big step forward to mastering the timings and mechanics you'll need from more advanced levels. After mastering those early levels, you move on to Dry Out, which introduces the reverse gravity mechanic for the first time. In this level, you'll find yellow portals, as seen later, that flip your cube upside down, completely changing how you approach the jumps. When gravity is reversed, your timings need to adjust because you're essentially playing mirrored controls. Jumps that felt natural before now require a different rhythm. The upside-down obstacles are still simple spikes and gap patterns, but switching between normal and upside-down gameplay forces you to stay alert and adaptable. Dry Out is all about helping you build the mental flexibility to handle gravity changes, something that is seen a lot in harder levels. Next up is Base After Base, the Forgotten level, which doesn't introduce any new mechanics but ramps up the difficulty by combining what you've already learned. It's basically a harder version of Back on Track and Dry Out, featuring tighter jump timings, upside down and normal gravity, mixed with orbs and pads. You need to control your jump height carefully here. Holding your jump for too long will cause you to hit the ceiling and fail. The level really tests your accuracy and precision with the skills you've learned so far. Following that is Can't Let Go, which also doesn't add any new mechanics, but amps up the challenge from the last level with darker visuals and tighter gaps for jumps. This forces you to rely on rhythm and muscle memory more than just sight. Finally, Jumper introduces upside-down flying for the first time, switching the ship game mode upside down in some sections. This adds a fresh challenge as you need to control the ship in reverse gravity, which feels different from normal flying. The level, as always, also features faster jumping timings and tighter spike placements, helping you refine your reflexes and control. After you've beaten Jumper, in my opinion, you're ready to take the big step into Demons. The game offers a few popular starter demons that are great choices for your first real challenge. Picking the right demon to begin with can make a huge difference in your learning curve and motivation. Here are some common beginner demons you might consider, along with their pros and cons, and to help you decide which one fits your style. The Nightmare is often recommended as a beginner demon because it has fairly simple mechanics and a steady pace. It's basically an extended version of the harder levels you've seen, with more spikes and tighter timings. The ship sections are confusing, but with practice become very consistent. This demon helps you get used to demon level difficulty without overwhelming you. The pros of this level are that it's fairly consistent and predictable obstacle patterns, good introduction to demon level spike timings, includes ship sections for practicing without being too hard. Cons are it's very boring compared to other demons, and the ship sections are very confusing and have a very weird click pattern, as you can see on screen. Shiver is another popular starter demon. It ramps up the speed a little bit compared to the Nightmare and introduces some faster paced sections. The level flows smoothly, and while there are a couple new game modes, it's quite manageable with practice. Shiver is great for players who want to build their speed and reflexes early on. The pros are that faster paced helps build reaction time, smooth flow and rhythm that feels rewarding once mastered, and a good mix of many different game modes like ball, ship, cube, wave, UFO, and spider can help. Cons is that it has a memory section at the end which could cause some deaths later in the level. Platinum Adventure is considered a bit harder than the other two, but is still approachable as a first demon. It has a mix of different game modes including cube, ship, and ball, with a pinch of wave and UFO. The visuals are bright and clear, which helps with seeing obstacles clearly. It's a great all-around practice demon for improving multiple skills. The pros are that it introduces multiple game modes for varied practice. Clear visuals makes it easier to spot obstacles, challenging but rewarding for skill development. The cons are that it's more complex than the other beginner demons, which can be tough, and has a couple of memory bits, which can be difficult for the untrained player. Now that you know a little about 3 demons, how do you decide which one to start with? Here's a quick guide to help you pick the demon that fits your current skill level, playstyle. Assess your strengths and weaknesses. If you're comfortable with steady timings and want to build confidence with demon level difficulty, the Nightmare is a solid pick. It has predictable patterns and isn't too fast. It only has 3 game modes, so it's more accessible for you right now. If you enjoy faster gameplay and want to challenge your reflexes early on, Shiver might be better. It's faster paced and will help you improve reaction times. This level has a lot of game modes, so it might be difficult to manage all at once, but if you're confident, go for it. If you want to improve your overall skills with multiple game modes and don't mind a bit more complexity, go for Platinum Adventure. It's a great all-around practice. Number 2. Try a practice run of each level. Watch gameplay videos or practice the level in practice mode first. See which one's style feels most comfortable or exciting for you. And don't be afraid to switch demons if one feels too hard or frustrating. You can always come back later. Remember, there's no wrong choice here. The best demon to start with is the one that keeps you motivated and eager to improve. If you want the easiest possible start, go for the Nightmare. If you want something balanced and a little more skill building, pick Platinum Adventure. And if you want variety with a tiny bit more challenge, choose Shiver. Now that you've chosen your first demon, maybe the Nightmare, Shiver, or Platinum Adventure, let's talk about how to actually conquer it using the game's practice tools. Start with practice mode. Each of these demons can feel overwhelming if you try to beat them in one go. That's why practice mode is your best friend here. It's the green crystal in the settings menu. When you start the level in practice mode, you get unlimited lives and the ability to place checkpoints anywhere by clicking the Z button on your keyboard or just clicking the icon. This way, you can break the demon into smaller sections. For the nightmare, begin by playing through the level and placing checkpoints every once in a while so that the demon has predictable patterns. This lets you focus on mastering one challenge at a time. Shiver, because it's fast-paced, use checkpoints before each portal and use a couple in the middle of a section. For Platinum Adventure, take advantage of the checkpoint system to practice each game mode transition, cube, ship, and ball, separately. Place checkpoints before each mode, switch and practice until you feel comfortable. Sometimes, even with checkpoints, some sections can still feel tough. That's where start pause practice comes in. Search up the name of the demon you're beating and add start pause at the end to find a good start pause level. Copy it and enter the editor to switch between start pauses. Instead of starting from the very beginning, you can jump directly to the hardest part. Start pauses are better than checkpoints because you have planned out sections that you want to complete without dying instead of just rushing in with practice checkpoints. Once you're comfortable with all the individual sections in practice mode, those start positions, and it's time to start chaining them together. Begin from the beginning and try to pass through multiple checkpoints in a row. As you improve, reduce the number of checkpoints until you can attempt the entire level in one go. Remember, beating your first demon isn't about speed. It's about breaking the challenge into manageable parts and mastering them step by step using these powerful practice tools. When you're at a far percentage, nerves will hit you, your heart will race, your hands will shake. Focus on breathing and remind yourself, I've been in this part in practice mode, I can do it again. This helps release stress. I've used this myself, and this really helps, which prevents this and raging. Now, let's look at the successful run. Your completion of any demon should look something like this. You're at the final part. You're so close to beating your first demon. Just don't mess it up. And I know you won't. That's your full journey from stereo madness to your first demon. I'm Pongo GD, working my way up to insane demons. So if you want to join the journey, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.